Tonight on CTV News, emotional defeat.
Pain, despair, anger, frustration.
The CFIA says they will go ahead with the cull of hundreds of ostriches. The Supreme Court rejects a last-ditch appeal from the farm.
Identifying the victim as 19-year-old Connor Sheriff in an effort to advance the case.
Deadly gunfire at a busy shopping mall. We now know who was killed at Metrotown.
It doesn't seem fair to our staff, and I'm extremely worried about what these cuts mean.
Budget blues in Vancouver. How many jobs will be cut? Confusion over the impact on the public.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the end of the legal road for an ostrich farm that attracted international attention in its bid to keep their birds alive. The CFIA says the cull will now go ahead after the Supreme Court of Canada refused to hear the case. CTV's Michelle Bernaro reports.
You're watching human beings. You're watching human beings. You're watching human beings self-destruct because of this chaos.
News of the court's decision was met by farm supporters with both anger and tears outside the family-run Universal Ostrich Farms, where people from across the country have gathered for months.
This is just all so unnecessary.
What they are doing is disgusting. It's not humane. It doesn't make sense. It costs taxpayers money.
The ruling from Canada's highest court removes any legal impediments to the birds being killed.
We obviously are pleased to see the decision of the Supreme Court. This is a decision that is following the science and evidence.
They won't listen to hope. They won't listen to change.
But the daughter of one of the owners still says the fight is not over.
I still hold on to hope. You know what I hold on to? It's Miracle Thursday. Miracles happen every day.
The CFIA declined an interview, but said in a statement that it will be moving forward to complete depopulation and disposal measures. No timeline was given. RCMP will remain at the farm until the CFIA operation is complete. The plight of the ostriches has attracted international attention, including that of a New York billionaire who says he provided $35,000 US to help fund the farm's legal fight. He wants Canada's Prime Minister to intervene.
Prime Minister's, I guess, the burden goes on his shoulders to make the right decision and to possibly issue a, well, in the United States, we call it a pardon.
The CFIA ordered the cull 10 months ago after an avian flu outbreak on the farm.
Dr. Oz offered the Federal Drug Administration to test these animals, and the CFIA refused it. I mean, I don't understand that.
There's really no practical way to actually test these birds. We don't know where the birds might be shedding virus if they are indeed still infected. These are 7 to 9 foot tall birds that are very strong, very fast, very dangerous to people.
Farm owners have argued the ostriches that survived show no signs of illness, have developed immunity, and should be allowed to live. That now appears unlikely after the Supreme Court's decision.
Okay, we apologize for those technical problems with that story. We now know who was killed in a brazen shooting in Burnaby last night. Gunfire erupted just after 6 near Metrotown, and clearly the killer had no concerns about unleashing violence outside a busy shopping mall with plenty of witnesses. CTV's Craig Krause joins us live from Station Square, where the shooting unfolded 24 hours ago. Craig?
Mi Jung, Station Square has reopened, and it's quite busy at this time of the evening. And this comes after a deadly shooting took place in the plaza last night. And this afternoon, we learned more about the identity of the victim. Take a listen to this.
Identifying the victim as 19-year-old Connor Sheriff in an effort to advance the case. Mr. Sheriff was known to the police for previous interactions with the police.
The Integrated Homicide Investigation Team says Sheriff is believed to have connections to the drug trade, but wouldn't answer when the last time they had an interaction. This all unfolding hours after police responded to reports of gunshots at this plaza. Police say when they arrived at the scene, they found Sheriff, and despite life-saving efforts, he did not survive. Shortly after the shooting, a vehicle was found on fire in Central Park. Investigators have since confirmed the burnt-out car was the suspect vehicle involved in the shooting.
The motivation for this shooting is still under investigation. However, I can confirm that it is not believed to be extortion related.
And Mi Jung, the RCMP says that no arrests have been made at this time, and they do believe that several leads have come forward, and they are tracking those at this time. They say that that there is possibly more than one suspect, and they're asking anyone in the public who has information about this to come forward. Mi Jung?
Craig Krause reporting live tonight from Burnaby. The trial of the man accused of killing a BC Mountie during a drug raid in Coquitlam 2 years ago continued today. Family and friends of Constable Rick O'Brien filled the courtroom as more first responders took the stand, recalling the events of that tragic day. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more from BC Supreme Court.
Another emotional day inside courtroom 208 for the family of Constable Rick O'Brien, who listened to more testimonies from officers who rushed to the scene after he was shot to death while executing a warrant. Constable Lauren Waite was among a second wave of officers who were called to the scene after gunfire erupted inside the unit on the 22nd floor of this Glen Drive condo building. Waite, who was visibly emotional while testifying, recalled getting out of the elevator and seeing a plainclothed officer wrestling with a man believed to be the accused Nicholas Bellemare in the hallway. Waite says he instructed another officer to assist with the arrest while he and two other Mounties entered the unit, seeking out another potential suspect. Once they deemed the unit clear, Waite says he began tending to O'Brien, who he says laid motionless on his back. He was still warm, but I didn't feel a pulse. I believe he was likely already dead. Waite dragged O'Brien to the elevator. He said once they got to the ground floor, he got a better look at the major injuries to his face. Bellemare is being tried by judge only. The trial is expected to run until mid-December. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, New Westminster.
A bedridden Kelowna mother told she had just half a year to live if she didn't get a liver transplant. That was 10 months ago, and tonight she's still waiting for that new liver. Her story coming up, but first, here's a live shot of Robson Street. It was a pretty dark and dreary day, and there were wind and rain warnings earlier. Are those still in effect?
Yes, they are through this evening. It is going to still be pretty blustery and pretty wet. Here's a look at those warnings right now for Metro Vancouver and Vancouver Island. We're seeing wind warnings in purple for East Coast Vancouver Island, Sunshine Coast as well as Greater Victoria, and the southwest corner of Metro Vancouver with winds gusting to 90 kilometers an hour and rainfall warnings, an additional 20 to 40 on top of what we had yesterday, and that is for the northwest and northeast corners of Metro Vancouver. And with the rain brings snow for the mountain passes, 10 to 20 centimeters expected for the Coquihalla Highway as well as Highway 3 through Allison Pass. So give yourself extra time if you're traveling in those areas. And we're going to continue to see some showers to start off the day tomorrow, but it does dry up. I've got the full forecast coming up.
There is some hope, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Anne.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
Vancouver taxpayers are getting a first look at a draft budget for next year. It's light on details, but what is clear? There are big winners and losers as the mayor takes an axe to spending. As CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, some worry the services residents rely on will be slow or just disappear.
Security guards, parking enforcement officers, and community center employees. They all help keep the city of Vancouver running. But these frontline service positions are at risk as the ABC majority on council pushes for a 0% property tax increase next year.
These jobs that are going to be cut are jobs that the taxpayers pay into and these programs might be cut.
This week, staff learned 400 positions are on the chopping block, 2/3 of which are unionized.
We're going to fight back.
It comes as City Council prepares to vote on next year's draft budget that seeks to save $120 million.
It doesn't seem fair to our staff, and I'm extremely worried about what these cuts mean in terms of hidden impacts.
While police and fire are looking at increases, arts and culture, planning, and the city's legal department, which isn't even mentioned, face rollbacks. The mayor saying it's up to the city manager. Do you not want to have any legal oversight at all, or are you going to end up hiring an outside service?
If he chooses to have a different allocation between in-house legal counsel and external legal counsel, that's his prerogative. I think the bigger question is making sure, do we have, great legal representation at an effective price, and that's absolutely what we're committed to.
Sources at the city tell CTV News that cuts to positions that review development permits, bylaws, and rezoning applications could impact project timelines and the availability of more housing.
When you look at it holistically, absolutely not. We are totally committed to speeding up the permitting process and approvals.
The services move slower and arrive slower for the people of Vancouver.
On Wednesday, City Council will debate the $2.3 billion budget as city departments make their case for funding. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Vancouver police and city officials unveiled a new community policing center today aimed at strengthening public safety in the downtown core.
They regularly patrol the area on foot. They identify issues that affect pedestrians, transit users, and cyclists, and work closely with our neighborhood police officers to enhance public safety.
The new downtown community policing center is located at the Post on West Georgia Street. It will serve as a permanent and central hub where officers, volunteers, and community members can work together to address neighborhood concerns and improve safety in the area. A Kelowna mother has been on an emotional roller coaster as she waits for a life-saving organ transplant. Her future remains uncertain as she questions how BC prioritizes complex medical patients. Rob Buffum explains.
Lindsay Richholt needs a walker to get around and has been largely bedridden while she waits for a liver transplant. 10 months ago, her doctor said she had 6 months to live without a new liver.
They were quite concerned that I was going to die while on the wait list.
The 42-year-old Kelowna mother has an autoimmune disease. She says BC Transplant's scoring system, called MELD, failed to properly factor the impact of her underlying disease.
They've also confirmed, though, that my MELD score is incorrect. So MELD score does not calculate correctly for autoimmune diseases.
Richholt ultimately resorted to soliciting living donors online. She got more than 50 responses. BC Transplant originally told her she couldn't accept one from a non-relative. It's since reversed course on that and done testing on 2 potential donors.
Testing has been going on for about 6 months. BC Transplant had originally told me testing takes 3 months.
BC Transplant tells CTV testing takes a minimum of 3 months and the process remains confidential, including whether a donor changes their mind. Richhold's frustration amplified by what she calls poor communication by BC Transplant that's left her feeling in the dark when or if she'll actually have her transplant.
Drop balls are really obvious, and I just feel for her plight.
I'm very nervous that something will happen and I won't make it.
Vancouver Coastal tells CTV in a statement, the MELD NA score is not the only tool used to assess patients who are waiting for transplant. The program frequently reassesses patients based on clinical updates. Not Richhold's experience and not much comfort as she clings to hope after being told 2 weeks ago she'd get a surgery date by yesterday, but still has no word on that, as she worries about a failing liver and weak immune system entering flu season.
Those are complications that could kill me, and that's absolutely terrifying for me and my family right now.
Robert Buffum, CTV News, Victoria.
Growing concern in Coquitlam for a 65-year-old man who set out on a hike and hasn't been seen for days. The latest on the search now underway. Also ahead.
It almost seemed like my brain didn't accept the fact of the accident.
A local man is killed by a suspected drunk driver in Korea. His best friend speaks with CTV. When CTV News continues, stay with us. Laws overseas are often different from those in Canada, and the parents of a Vancouver man who died in a car crash are scrutinizing what's happening in South Korea. His best friend wants his case to lead to stiffer sentences and for people to think twice before getting behind the wheel if they've been drinking. Here's CTV's Shannon Patterson.
Justin Bumsuck Kim was a tennis instructor who moved to Canada as a teenager and settled in Vancouver 4 years ago.
He was a great extrovert. He likes to make new friends. He likes to, speak to people.
When the 30-year-old traveled to Seoul, South Korea last month for a friend's wedding, he met a woman.
They actually went on a date on that night the accident happened. And while both of them were crossing the crosswalk with pedestrian green light, that's when the drunk driver struck both of them.
Justin Kim's date suffered a brain injury and he died at the scene. When the news reached his best friend back in Canada,
it almost seemed like my brain didn't accept the fact of the accident. So I was actually just sitting still for half an hour. And then I looked up. There's actually a bunch of pictures on my wall. I looked up and he was smiling at me.
Kim's parents flew from Vancouver to Seoul to plan their son's funeral and to ensure the alleged drunk driver who fled the scene but was caught by police is charged.
That's the main reason that his parents are still in Korea. We don't know how long it will take, but whatever it takes, we'll do for Justin.
Kim's death and the death of a Japanese tourist who was struck by an alleged drunk driver in Seoul the following week have put a spotlight on Korea's laws surrounding impaired driving causing death.
A lot of the cases, it's seen as an accident rather than intentional crime.
Typical sentences are 4 to 8 years. Kim's friends and family believe if the driver who hit him is charged and convicted, a longer sentence would serve as a deterrent.
If Justin's case could save at least one person in the future, or if it triggers someone to think twice before they go on the wheel drunk, that would be valuable for all of us.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
A search continues tonight in Coquitlam for a senior still missing days after setting out on a hike.
2 days ago, we were called by the RCMP, Coquitlam RCMP, that a car had been found that was reported by the family. The man had been overdue. His car was found here on Burke Mountain, and they were asked us to come out and search the mountain. We had very little details because he was a solo hiker.
65-year-old Tosang Alfred Wong was last seen leaving his home around noon Tuesday. The next day, Mounties found his gray Chevy Cruze at the Coquitlam Lake trailhead. Wong's described as an Asian man with a slim build and a balding gray hair who stands 5'3". Anyone who sees him is asked to call police. Surrey RCMP are asking the public for help finding a woman missing for a month. 39-year-old Yvonne Jackson was last seen the morning of October 6th in the 22,000 block of Fraser Highway in Langley. Jackson's described as 5'5", tall and about 120 pounds. Kelowna RCMP are hoping to reunite a missing dog named Justice with his owner. The 5-year-old Yorkshire Terrier ran off this morning after a man tried to grab him while on a walk. The suspect was arrested shortly after, but the dog has yet to be found. Police say Justice may be scared or injured and was last seen near Pandosy Street and Park Avenue. Why Prince Harry is apologizing to Canadians after what he calls Hatgate. Also ahead.
So the red carpet's there. We're ready to show off our state and welcome everybody back.
Thank you. California dreaming of more Canadian tourism. Officials are in town to woo Canadian visitors in the middle of a trade war. That's ahead. With many still boycotting U.S. travel, leaders from California's tourism industry are in Vancouver, hoping to lure Canadians back to sunshine and fun. CTV's Martin McMahon has more.
From Disneyland to world-class wineries, Canadians have enjoyed California's sun-soaked attractions for generations. But as trade tensions continue, there's been a 19% drop in Canadians visiting the state.
For literally 58 years, Canada's been our #1 international destination. We're huge fans of Canadians coming in and enjoying Disneyland and all the things Anaheim has to offer. And for the first time ever, Mexico kind of usurped Canada as our #1 international market.
In response, 16 CEOs from the Golden State put together a PR blitz in Vancouver to lure disgruntled Canucks back down south.
For my area in particular, in the Bay Area, it's about a 30% decline. So an area that's about the percentage that it's been trending in the state. Yeah, it's been difficult. So the red carpet's there. We're ready to show off our state and welcome everybody back.
We asked people in Vancouver if California travel is back on the table.
Not necessarily boycotting travel to the U.S., but I'm being strategic about what I'm going to the U.S. for.
They welcome us with open arms down there. They're excited to have us come down.
No, I don't like the States, no. No, thank you. Wouldn't go down there if you paid me.
We understand and respect, those folks who are out of principle just don't want to come. I think California and Governor Newsom have done a really good job of trying to articulate that we're, 3,000 miles away from D.C. and we act and react differently than, our government at this point, and we're a very welcoming state.
They're willing to slash prices to encourage travelers. A campaign which gives a 25% hotel and attractions discount through Expedia for Canadians heading to California will likely be renewed as the trade war drags on. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A new poll suggests most Americans, including Republicans, continue to view Canada positively in economic and trade matters despite the ongoing trade war. Findings from a new poll by Leger, Maintenance Media, and Canada 338 indicated that 75% of Americans said they completely or somewhat trust Canada's intentions to negotiate in good faith. Despite this, the poll also found that less than a quarter of Americans see Canada as a close ally in the economic and trade relationship. In Washington, Donald Trump says his administration will have to come up with a plan B if the Supreme Court rules against the tariffs on Canada and other countries.
We thought we did very well yesterday. We hope that we did. I think it would be devastating for our country, but I also think that we'll have to develop a Game 2 plan. We'll see what happens. The numbers we have.
If the court rejects the tariffs, the U.S. president has plenty of other options. He can reuse tariff powers deployed in his first term, or he could cite a section of the Trade Act that allows the U.S. to counter what it sees as unfair trade practices. Earlier this year, 2 lower courts and a federal appeals court ruled that the emergency law Trump invoked doesn't give him unlimited power to set tariffs. Drake's music has been streamed billions of times. Now a lawsuit alleges that some of those are fake, what the company is saying. And new research could go a long way in helping to conserve the transient killer whale population. The lead author's 20-year investigation showing they're made up of 2 groups. That's ahead.
We will never forget your bravery, your strength, your sacrifice.
The very best and bravest of our nation, these heroic souls stood on guard for freedom.
Join the CTV News team and me as Canada comes together to remember.
Remembrance Day 2025, Tuesday morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on CTV.
New research is revealing fascinating differences within the transient killer whale population off Vancouver Island, showing that there are actually two distinct groups living along our coast. Researchers say the findings, 20 years in the making, identify inner and outer coastal whales that rarely mix. The so-called city dwellers stay close to shore, hunting harbor seals and porpoises, while the rural whales travel hundreds of kilometers offshore, feeding on dolphins, elephant seals, and even young gray whales.
What we found is that these two different communities occur in completely two different habitats. We do believe that there's a third one out there that we call oceanics, that they might be transients. We're not entirely sure yet.
Researchers add that this discovery could help shape future conservation efforts. A new lease on life for a miniature horse named Cookie, once neglected and bound for slaughter, now rescued and trotting into a whole new role. Cookie was sworn in as an honorary community ambassador for California's Monterey County Sheriff's Office. She was rescued from a Texas kill pen and adopted by an officer. Now healthy and thriving, the 15-year-old horse will officially join the sheriff's team, helping build connections between law enforcement and the community. You know, when they take Cookie out, everyone is going to just be flocking to that adorable horse.
And her braids, everything, absolutely great that she's joined the crew.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep those braids in good shape. Very cute.
Definitely. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Another stormy day today. We had some strong winds and heavy rains. Right now, we're just dealing with the rainfall warning. The wind warning's just lifted. As you can see, the purples are gone. So rainfall warning for the northeast and northwest corners of Metro Vancouver through this evening. We expect it to be lifted in the next couple of hours or so. Also, snowfall warnings in effect for the Coquihalla Highway and Hope to Princeton via Allison Pass. 10 to 20 centimeters expected as we head through this evening before it eases off. So do take care if you're headed onto those routes. So here's a look at our weather tracker. Heavy rain right now, just east of Chilliwack into Hope. Higher elevation, seeing that mixing. So we are seeing some light rain moving past Coquitlam, Maple Ridge right now. We will see a few showers through the overnight, and that's how we'll start off your early morning commute. It will be a wet one, but it doesn't last very long. Things do dry up. We will get some sunny breaks through the afternoon, slowly clearing as we head into tomorrow night. You'll see 2 to 4 centimeters of snow possible for the northeast corner of the province. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Showers to start off the day for Port Hardy tomorrow before you see a mix of sun and cloud in a high 11. A mix of sun and cloud for Campbell River and Comox with highs to 12 degrees. For the South Island, showers for Tofino. Early morning showers for Port Alberta and Victoria with afternoon sun. Temperatures between 10 and 12 degrees. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for Nanaimo and the Southern Gulf Islands with highs to 12. A few clouds for the Sunshine Coast with a high of 10. It'll stay cloudy with showers up the Sea to Sky Highway, 5 for Whistler, 10 for Squamish, and for us across the Lower Mainland. Morning showers drying up through the afternoon with temperatures between 11 and 12 degrees. We'll start off the weekend pretty dry under mostly cloudy skies. Rain returns Sunday night into Monday morning before it clears out of the way. And then on Tuesday, right now, it's looking cloudy for the services for Remembrance Day with a high of 11 degrees. And then we will see cloudy skies on Wednesday with rain returning on Thursday and a high of 11. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So not too bad into tomorrow after a showery start, and then looking pretty good, pretty dry right now for the weekend.
Nice to see that the storm, the worst of the storm, is behind us now, because it's such a dark time of year.
I know.
We'll take any sunshine we can get.
Exactly. Cloudy right now, so not too bad.
Okay, thanks, Ann. A lawsuit against Spotify alleges rap star Drake is profiting from fraudulent streaming of his songs. Also ahead.
I want to go green, and they only save some money.
More people are installing solar panels to cut their energy bills, but there can be costly problems. What homeowners should know, that's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 70 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down 17 cents, closing the day at $59.43 a barrel. Gold both lost nearly $2 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both ended the day lower, down 234 points and 398 points, respectively. Homeowners are rushing to take advantage of government rebates for solar panels, a move that could cut energy bills and carbon footprints. But the investment comes with risks and key decisions that could impact your bottom line. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
Osvaldo Guzman of Scarborough had solar panels installed on his home 4 years ago. He says he wanted to do his part to help the environment and lower his energy costs.
I want to go green, and the other save some money. Unfortunately, I didn't get any money back or saved money.
Guzman paid $40,000 for the solar panels and installation, but a year later there was a problem.
My system was broken, and the company didn't, respond.
Guzman says to get the system working again, he had to pay $10,000 for repairs. He says his total monthly savings on his energy bill is $100 a month. If you're thinking of installing solar panels, you could have problems with animals getting under them and snow and ice buildup. Before getting them, you also need to check with your insurance company to make sure you're covered.
But if they found out you had solar panels that did not fit within their eligibility rules, they could make the case that they would not have wrote the policy in the first place to begin with, and that could lead to a denied claim. Could be a very costly mistake.
There may be restrictions on how much power you can generate, and while you may save money on electricity, your insurance premiums could go up.
It's ultimately going to increase the rebuild value of your dwelling, so you will see an increase in premiums on that front as well.
Having solar panels on your home could also affect your home's resale value, as there may be buyers who don't want to deal with them or take over existing agreements. In the event you need a new roof, you may need to pay to remove the panels and reinstall them. They may be a good choice for some, but you need to do your research. Guzman says he wouldn't do it again.
No, never. No. I think the solar panel is for Florida, Miami, the nice weather where it's sun all day, all year. But here we have maybe 4 months and that's it.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A new class action lawsuit is raising serious questions about how royalties are paid out on Spotify and whether some stars like Drake have cashed in on fake streams. Drake became the first artist to reach 120 billion streams on Spotify back in September, earning the Canadian rapper millions in royalties. But a lawsuit filed in California claims some of those earnings may be tied to a fraudulent streaming scheme involving bots and VPNs. In one example, 250,000 streams of Drake's song No Face allegedly originated in Turkey but were masked to appear from the UK.
If we don't have strict rules and laws around streaming of music, we're going to see a lot of fabricated numbers. It would benefit them a lot to exaggerate the amount of people that are using the streaming service.
Spotify denies any wrongdoing, saying it uses top-tier systems to fight artificial streaming. Drake isn't named as a defendant, but his name appears 32 times in the filing. The lawsuit points to him as a high-profile example, but claims the issue goes far beyond one artist. The king of pop's epic rise to stardom is being brought to life in a new biopic memorializing Michael Jackson.
And embrace the future. That's what people want.
Michael depicts Jackson's life and legacy. The move has already faced some controversy and had to push back release dates. Michael is now set to hit the theaters next April. Still to come tonight, the name for Vancouver's new PWHL team is unveiled. Prince Harry finally apologizes for wearing a Dodgers hat. And may the artistic force be with you. Adam finds out how a creative Cowichan woman found a unique way to connect with her grandson through Star Wars. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning, Vancouver.
Vancouver's newest pro hockey team is gearing up for a milestone moment. Friday on Your Morning Vancouver, players join us for a special announcement ahead of their inaugural season in the Professional Women's Hockey League. The electric vehicle slowdown. Are Canadians losing interest in sustainability as federal incentives dry up? Plus, the Vancouver chef making waves thanks to his Top Chef Canada success. We'll see you in the morning.
The CPKC holiday train left Calgary today, heading for Montreal. Once there, it splits in two, with one train traveling south to New Orleans and the other making its way here to Vancouver. Both trains will stop in nearly 200 communities along the way, bringing live music and the holiday spirit while also collecting donations for local food banks. Vancouver's professional women's hockey team has a new look and name.
We are the Vancouver Golden Eyes.
The PWHL unveiled our team's new identity this morning with 15 days to go until the home opener. The name was inspired by a bird native to Vancouver, known for its speed, strength, and precision in flight. The logo, a golden eye surrounded by wings, features the team's Pacific Northwest color palette. League organizers say that they wanted the team's identity to reflect the city's deep connection to nature.
Nature felt so ever present, such a intrinsic to the way of life, and that's definitely one of the core kind of foundational areas where we started to think about in terms of the naming process.
The Vancouver Golden Eyes will host fellow expansion team and newly named Seattle Torrent at Pacific Coliseum on November 21st for their inaugural game. It was a nail-biter when the Whitecaps punched their ticket to the next round of the MLS playoffs. It's not until November 22nd, but already the club says it sold almost 50,000 tickets for the Western Conference semifinal match. That means the upper bowl will be open as fans flock to watch the Caps face their playoff nemesis, LAFC, for the third year in a row. With the pain of the loss still fresh for some fans, the Toronto Blue Jays top brass spoke to the media today. As CTV's Sean Leathong reports, they were both reflecting on the past season and looking ahead to the next one.
Days after the World Series ended, the Rogers Centre sits still. Some packing done for the off-season, with small pieces of confetti remaining on the field from a celebration fans didn't want to see. Not far away, Blue Jays president Mark Shapiro were giving his year-end news conference with a different feeling than in years past.
When you think about giving your life to working in sports, you do so for the moments that you think you might be able to lift a community. But you never imagine what it could mean to lift a community coast to coast.
This year's Jays team got within one run of winning the World Series and seemed to captivate not just Toronto but the country. Shapiro saying that it was for reasons beyond wins and losses.
This is a world-class city, you know, an incredible place to play. It's the best ballpark, or one of the best ballparks in all of Major League Baseball. We care deeply about our players. I think that you know, their families and wives have been testament to that over the past week.
While fans may not be ready to let this team go, the business of baseball is moving on. Bench coach Don Mattingly will not return next season after having been with the club for 3 years. Pitcher Shane Bieber will return, which has been welcomed by the club and fans. Pitchers Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer have expressed a desire to return but are free agents. And then there's the question of Bo Bichette. The team confirming they have made a qualifying offer but expect Bichette to test the open market. GM Ross Atkins saying the Blue Jays will be a bidder for Bichette, but there are no guarantees fan favorites will be back.
Constantly be thinking about getting better, and that is one way to think about carrying on what has already occurred and improving upon what was good. But you just have to be open to other ways to doing it.
But within the Blue Jays front office, there's a new bar for success as the comeback kids who almost won it all.
that you never go into a planning cycle, which is what Ross is leading our group through right now, in the process of leading our group through, without some understanding that you just can't recreate something identical. You know, you've got to build off of what happened.
And now that season is in the rearview mirror, and work begins on building for 2026. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
Prince Harry, whose father, King Charles, is of course head of the Commonwealth, is apologizing to Canada for wearing an LA Dodgers hat during the World Series against the Blue Jays.
Oh, the LA Dodgers hatgate. Well, firstly, I would like to apologize to Canada for wearing it. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes.
He also joked that when you're missing some hair on top, you'll take any hat you can get. And yes, these are the hats that made headlines last week. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle both sported the Dodgers ball caps, sparking some playful backlash online. Now, do we accept Prince Harry's apology?
Too late. He shouldn't even be allowed to wear the Blue Jays hat ever again.
He was invited by the owner, though.
For sure,
but maybe he should have said no to that.
Decline? No. Only if I can wear the Blue Jays hat.
Oh, yeah, that would go over well. Yeah. Anyways, he was making fun of JVR, too, about being bald and needing... He tried to deflect with humor, didn't he?
Didn't work, Harry.
Okay, have you guys heard of vibe coding?
No.
Okay, it's been declared the word of the year for one dictionary maker. Vibe coding is Collins Dictionary's pick for 2025. The term refers to a form of software development that involves using AI to turn natural language into computer code. It's not the only phrase turning heads. You might remember last week Dictionary.com announced its word of the year, and it wasn't a word at all. 6-7.
Yeah.
6-7
was chosen for the annual pick. The slang term, often used by kids and teens, is supposedly another way of saying so-so.
I don't understand it.
But we've never, the three of us, never heard of vibe coding. We must be completely
Not vibe
out of the
coding.
loop.
I know 6-7, not
Yes,
vibe coding.
know that one. Okay, 1 out of 2, 50%.
It's not bad.
Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a moment. First, Kevin is here with a preview of your late news.
Yeah, Mi Jung, a new development in the controversial Cowichan Tribe's decision. We're speaking with a lawyer representing a Richmond real estate company who's planning on taking legal action. We'll have the interview tonight. Plus, we take you to Vancouver Island for a different kind of property battle. A property management company is alleging negligence against the city of Langford and several construction and engineering firms, citing defects with the development. We'll dig into the amended civil claim and tell you why the Centurion Apartment Properties is seeking more than $45 million in damages. Those stories and all your late-breaking news coming up at 11:30.
Is that the building where people had to move out?
Yes, that is the one.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Kevin. Finally, in a galaxy far, far away, or on Vancouver Island, Adam finds out how one grandmother got creative with her Star Wars-loving grandson. The pair transformed a basement into something truly out of this world on tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
When Sandra Crowick's kids were little, rakes rarely just raked.
If they could find a piece of wood or an old garden tool, it would turn into a lightsaber.
Well, she'll never forget seeing that first Star Wars for the first time.
And it sure did not disappoint.
Sandra always preferred wielding paintbrushes over lightsabers. But then her kids had kids, and Sandra got to experience a whole new set of Star Wars movies with her grandson, Remington.
Fun to sit and relax and watch the movies and see all the cool actions.
But even better, when recreating that action, is not having to resort to using old rakes. Remington got these lightsabers during a recent visit to the Star Wars attraction at Disneyland. Around the same time, someone suggested combining his passion with Sandra's painting.
That just sent my imagination wild.
And what she came up with couldn't be contained by a canvas. So Sandra set her sights on a basement wall and started sketching a substantial celebration of Star Wars.
Just crazy. Watch how she sits there for like 3 hours a day just painting and painting.
And like Yoda famously said, do or do not, there is not try. This duo did what they had to do to paint a portal into a galaxy far, far away that was as accurate as can be.
That's really good, Oma, but that stormtrooper wouldn't be wearing that helmet. And it's like, oh, okay, I can fix that.
And once every detail was right, on not just the old characters, but the new ones too, plus the beloved bots and those favorite flying ships, they decided it was done.
I stepped back and I looked, it's just, wow.
And while seeing this 12-foot wide mural for the first time would make most of us say, wow, after spending 200 hours over 18 months creating it, this grandma and grandson feel grateful.
It was really fun.
Talking and hanging out and stuff, just good memories.
It's like finding the Force is with you, always. Adam Swatsky, CTV News, Duncan.
Wow, the Force is strong with her.
There it is. Someone was going to say it. You knew it. George Lucas would be proud. That is impressive.
Oh, my goodness,
really.
Yeah, boy, she's nominated for Best Grandma of the Year.
Definitely. She's got more walls in her house, I'm pretty sure they can paint.
Yeah, but I think the best thing is that they could spend all that time together, and that's priceless.
Amazing. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Check out this double rainbow over East Vancouver yesterday. Thanks, Jenna, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshots as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. Lots of rainbows yesterday.
Gorgeous. Yeah, you always see social media explodes whenever there's a double rainbow, right? Okay, thanks for joining us tonight. Kevin will be back at 11:30.
See you later.